Let's talk about my mother-in-law. Now, she has always been interfering. But since my husband and I had our 3 children, who are 5, 3 and 1, she's become unbearable. My husband works long hours so that I can be a stay-at-home mum, which has always been my dream. I really love it. And because he earns really well, we are lucky enough that we get to have a housekeeper as well. I know, we are very lucky, and I really do feel it every day. But every time my mother-in-law visits, she somehow makes me feel like I am failing at everything. Honestly, most of the time I just end up crying when she leaves. She undermines my parenting constantly. She openly criticises the decisions I make for our children. For example, my daughter goes to a mixed school and my mother-in-law doesn't agree with it. So every time she's over, I hear about it. And she says things like, I hope you haven't made a mistake there. I hope you don't live to regret that. And she says these things in front of my daughter, which then plays on my daughter's mind. And she has now started saying things like, I don't want to go to this school. It's confusing her. She also has this weird obsession with how close my children are in age. She told me that it's my fault that I have days where I struggle, like every parent, because I chose to have them that close in age, and I've set myself up for failure by doing that. And if I want to have another one, even though the way I've set it out is wrong, I need to hurry up. Otherwise the youngest will be left behind. Honestly, at this point, I know this sounds dramatic, but I just burst out crying because I was at the end of my tether. I was drained, and she just looked at me, rolled her eyes and said, oh, don't be so sensitive. She's always been like this. I remember when I was pregnant with our youngest and I was suffering with horrendous morning sickness. And she came over and told me that pregnancy is not an illness and I need to stop acting like it is. And then the worst one was after I'd suffered a miscarriage. My heart was in pieces. My husband's heart was in pieces. We were both really struggling with this grief. She looked me square in the face and she said to me, well, at least you know you can get pregnant. Now stop dwelling on what you've lost and start concentrating on what you've got. I'm not one to run and tell tales to my husband usually, but I did with this one because I had lost a lot. That was my baby. So I told him. And as much as he was upset and also hurt by her words, he did tell me that she's never been good with words and she does mean well. Does she? Because I feel like if somebody means well, you receive it here. You feel like they mean well. And I don't feel like she means well. And that's the real issue, I guess. My husband is amazing. He's the most perfect man I have ever met. He absolutely adores me and our children. He does anything and everything for us. But he works a lot, so his contribution is largely financial. And he does take providing for us financially extremely seriously, which I love about him. Because I never have to worry about that, and I know he genuinely cares about us. But because he's not home much, he doesn't see what his mum is like, and therefore he doesn't really understand when I occasionally tell him these things. He thinks that she's being nice. He doesn't understand what she's doing. And also because he grew up with her being this way, I guess this is just his normality. But it's not mine. So seeing as my husband isn't here most of the time, I decided that I need to take this into my own hands. I need to create some boundaries and set some rules. So I said to my mother-in-law that we need to take a break. We need to not see each other as much, as it's impacting on me negatively. She laughed in my face, and then she collected her stuff to leave. She looked at my children and she said, Granny will see you very soon. Now I know when I tell my husband what I've done, he's not going to be happy. He's going to think that I am being so dramatic. But he's not here to see it. So how do I go about this without it turning into a huge argument? That's assuming that I get to be the one to tell him, assuming that she hasn't already done it. I just want to know if I'm the one who's being unreasonable here. Should I not have said that to her? Should I have just kept my mouth shut and let her keep coming and keep putting me down? I don't know what I should have done.